Take three. Hello and welcome. I'm April from The Moon is My Calendar, and this is a lunar tracking tip number 2 for working on the new moon calendar and journal. So, what to track? This is a question that I get a lot and that I even ask myself as I am practicing self study in relationship with cycles. So, one question you can think about is where you want more rhythm in your life and what you might want to observe. So there's kind of two approaches of just observing what is. So if it's a rhythm around sleep or rest, observing what is, how many hours of sleep do you get, and just making note of that. There's also then tracking for transformation about what is not yet. What is it for your future self? How do you want your relationship or rhythm with sleep to be? And then setting an intention around that where there's this kind of stretch or a reach to change or shift habits. So, what to track? You can track what is, really as an observation to see what can reveal itself through patterns over time. And then tracking what is yet to be. And so that would be setting an intention to shift or change a habit. So in the journal, there's a page that has just a sample overview of what it might look like. Again, it's a sample because this tool is very open for you to work with in a way that resonates with you. So this is one way, is to create symbols. And there's space up here to create your own symbols or just some ideas for getting started. So with what to track, you can track moods and emotions. So seeing just that range or patterns over time, seeing if there's any connection between moods and emotions to lifestyle and habits. Also just physically, the body and sensations. So you can work with symbols. You can also write simply with words or color code or have stickers, really however you want to represent what it is that you are paying attention to. So in this, the tip of what to track really is, what do you want to pay attention to? Where do you want to bring more rhythm or vibrancy into your life? And then start to make note of those things. Whatever it is, wherever we bring our focus and our attention to, begins to amplify, begins to strengthen, begins to gather even more energy and awareness around it because we're making a choice to bring our focus, our attention to that thing. So whatever that thing or things is, it doesn't have to be necessarily something that you can like quantify or it is very much like an experiment, and you can approach it like an experiment. And I'll make another video about that approach in particular. But just for now, what to track? If you are choosing to track something like when you notice yourself getting really angry and that lightning bolt. The lightning bolt can represent lots of things, but for me, it's like there's an intensity. So whenever there's an intensity that I feel, I make that lightning bolt. And then I can start to see and notice when that's happening and what that might be related to, and also just how it resolves itself. This container of the lunar cycle, it can hold all of it. It's a way of giving voice to what is in our life, giving it a place to be acknowledged. And often when we acknowledge something, there can be that opening for a resolution or more understanding. So again, with what to track, it can be noticing what is, hours of sleep, emotions, physical sensations, lifestyle, time in nature, creative practice. And it's not something like there isn't necessarily a goal of it has to be the same thing you track every single day. What's beautiful is this is the structure, and within that you can flow with what where you want to put your energy and where you want to bring your focus and attention to, and that is what you can track, which again can be one particular thing for a whole lunar cycle. It can change over the lunar cycle, or, have different approaches, or you can choose one thing that you want to track every single day over a whole year of cycles. So I'm going to go rewind and go back in time and just show you my very first calendar page that I tracked on. This is falling apart. 2025. What am I talking about? 2015. Sometimes making a calendar, my mind lives in future or past, present, future simultaneously. So 2015, and this was actually December of 2014. This very first new moon calendar journal started on the solstice with the new moon. And so I was choosing to track. I wanted to notice the moon in the sky every single day. So I wanted to see where the moon was to really start to build this relationship. And so I would go out, and when I'd see the moon, I would just make note for myself around the edge and anything else that I noticed, maybe the weather or the conditions. This was before the calendar had the little moon phases on each day. So this looks a lot like throwing spaghetti at the wall, or sort of throwing symbols onto the circle. There were some things I tracked consistently, like hours of sleep. I just wrote in the number of hours of sleep. And that winter, I got really sick. My kids got really sick. It felt like it was going to last forever. There's this little like germ symbol. It felt like it was going to last forever. It didn't. So whatever you're tracking, what can help, it helps to build a muscle around places where we may feel stuck, or that feel like I'm going to have this pain forever. Making note of it and tracking, and then also seeing when it shifts, and sometimes the subtle things can go by unnoticed. And lunar tracking is a practice of developing more subtle awareness, being able to hear the early signs, like the little whispers of things before they get full blown and like loud. So it's a practice of paying attention, and whatever you choose to track is what you're paying attention to. So I hope this tip helps. I will make another video about tracking inner cycles and outer cycles, sort of as a separate tutorial, because what to track can relate to the outer cycles, what seems like more like environmental, and the inner cycles of that inner landscape. Okay, so choosing what to track and bringing awareness to that, developing subtle awareness, and starting to notice patterns, and both with what is and what you are calling into being. Okay, thank you so much for being here. And if you feel like this would be helpful, this video, these tips, please feel free to forward, send to a friend, like, subscribe, all those good things. It helps me just even have that encouragement to keep going, and for other people who might be new to this practice to learn more what it's about, to feel comfortable and confident in practicing and developing their own lunar tracking self-study for relationship with cycles.